Hi, this is Studio 120. I'm Beck Lane, and in my last video, I expressed a lot of somewhat dark, well, actually pretty dark thoughts about depression and anxiety, which has been, it's been ongoing my entire life. We're not going to talk much about it right now because I think I did enough yapping the last time. But part of my sadness and depression is not just being alone, because I don't really mind being alone, but when I get cornered, when I feel cornered and I can't dig my way out, that's when a sadness starts to overcome me. And I've been living in this one city for, we're going into our 5th year, or we're in our 4th or something, and I really don't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere, so I do get down. But I also, it's not just that, and it's not just like, oh, I haven't seen my son in 4.5 years, and I can't see. I have a grandson who's 2 that I haven't met. I haven't seen my daughter-in-law in 5 years or something. It's yeah, we're going to hit our 5th year of me not seeing my most immediate family. So it's not just that. I also, when I get stuck in my artwork, when I've got a problem with my artwork and I can't figure it out, everything comes to a grinding halt. And this one painting that I've talked about multiple times that I cannot show you, I have been so mired in and so stuck in for over 4 months, or somewhere around 4 months. So I think I said it in the last video, I just trashed the original. I wrote the person who commissioned it and said, I got to start over again. This is just a tragic mess that I've created. Well, I've got the second one and it's almost done, and I can feel in the last 48 hours, I've started to feel how it's coming together. And there are still issues with it. There's a tremendous amount of color in it, surrounding the figures and in and around the figures. And I think I got myself really, really confused with this idea that I had of spreading color everywhere, and a tremendous amount of color everywhere. But it wasn't balanced. There were a couple of issues with it, and this is the I'm a painter part of this. I'm an artist part of this. I did everything the wrong way when I started. I started with a color photograph, which I don't work well from. I started with my iPad. The reference material is on an iPad. I started with it lengthwise, and then I switched it to sideways, I realized, and that condensed and changed the images just a little bit in my head. I mean, I just, all the way across the board, wrong. So in this one, I started with the iPad standing tall and black and white. And there's been a number of things I've had to do to work and rework it. Reconfiguring the faces and the movement and the figures. But now I've got all this color, and I just remembered to turn it upside down like 10 minutes ago. I just went, oh, this is why it isn't working. I'm looking at it as the viewer would, sometimes at an angle. Well, usually at angles, but what do you have to do for me? What I have to do to get the flow and the balance is take it and turn it upside down. And is it making sense? Is the color, is the flow, is the balance making sense with the painting upside down? And I'm gonna get myself there. I've got too much orange here, too much yellow there, too much green. I'm relying on these colors to just kind of fake the eye and pull the eye around, but it's pulling the eye around in all the wrong way. But now I know, I have that feeling, oh, okay, you figured it out, you're almost there. So it's upside down. I'm reworking the balance, the color, because I've got the shapes right on everyone. I've got the proportions better, because I also remembered to pull out a mirror and look at the reference material backwards. Like the mirrors here, the iPad is here and the painting is in back of me. So the past day or two, it's been me doing this, trying to get everything correct and getting it to fit together like a puzzle piece. Now, another thing I do when I'm, not necessarily when I'm feeling down, because I get mired in my own head, like mired in the paint and, you know, really, really stuck. But when I'm starting to feel like, oh, okay, this is working now and I can take on other projects. I love having other projects going, tons of them at once, and jumping from idea to idea. I've been working on these books for my grandson, and I just started number 4. Let's pick that. I just started number 4 last night, actually. Yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before. God, time is such a bizarre thing. I never know what day or time it is. But I started number 4 anyway. And this one is going to be about the Chinese Zodiac. As I've covered in other videos, I'm trying to give him a sense of self, a real sense of self. So if he's feeling he's not quite sure his place in the world, like we all get to, he'll have something that I've written, he'll have it in my handwriting, something hopefully kind of fun and interesting that will help lead his heart and his head back to himself. You know, we all lose our way, but it's so wonderful when you have the gift of people around you to help remind you where your moral compass is set or how to reset it. And who knows what's going to happen in the future. He and I may never meet. With COVID and just time and money and distance, we may never meet. So I want to make sure that he has something. I'm not just like a ghost figure off in the distance. When I was growing up, I knew one grandparent, my Grandpa Taylor, and he was the kindest, most decent man I've ever met in my life. He was the one. But unfortunately, I only have a few things that were from him. Maybe a couple of birthday cards and a really ugly vase. When I had, did I have my tonsils out? Yeah, I had my tonsils out and he sent me flowers. And it's just in this really ugly vase. It was very popular in the 60s. But that's kind of it. That's what I got. So this is what I'm putting together for Maxwell, is a series of books explaining to him his horoscope, both in Chinese and in the Western version. I'm talking to him about where his name came from, the history of it, the lineage, the Lane lineage, and his other grandparents' lineage. As much information as I have or I can find, I'm putting into these books. I'm also putting in, as I've talked about before, secret codes. In this one, we've got the numerical. There's his name, Maxwell. I have the numerical code for his name up above. Down below, I've got the @bash, which it's just the alphabet taken and flipped, so that the Z represents the A. Everything is zipped. It's back or flipped rather, so it's backwards. We've got A, B, C, D, E, and then Z. Oh God, how does this work? Z, Y, X, blah blah blah. So they correspond, but you know, in the opposite. Let's put it that way. And then I'm also listing some Braille in here too. What I'm hoping is, as he gets older and this becomes a little bit more intriguing, he'll go online and he'll start doing research and finding clues and, you know, really making a game of learning different languages. And that's all this is. I'm also looking into learning sign language. It's been something I've always wanted to do, so why not do it? But I've also covered Morse code, Pigpen, and several other codes with him. The other night I was writing down. Where is that? I've got all these codes. Computer coding. I've got basic computer coding. And there's shorthand for it, and this you know, there's all different types of words and stuff that I can learn in computer coding, but it's so lengthy. I'm not sure I want to use this at all. But anyway, that's what I've been working on. I've also been listing out the alphabet for him because he's learning to read, or he's about to learn to read, and he's just 2. He loves books. So I want to help support that love of books, the love of reading, and give him the love of reading that I had. So I have the alphabet written out in several different codes in this page, or these pages, the first couple of pages. What do I have here? Yep, once again, numerical, what is it? At-bash, and then pig pen. So I'm just constantly writing down codes for him and the alphabet, so they help to support one another. This thrill and this excitement and passion for languages, history, and anything fun that kids just don't know anymore, don't know how to do anymore. I want to give him that sense of magic that I always wanted as a kid and tried to build in my own mind. Then I started writing out numbers and mathematical symbols, which is just another language. I want to keep driving home this use of language so that it becomes fluid in his mind, hopefully. Oh, I got a lot of erasing to do. And here I am once again listing out the alphabet, and I'm not sure how many times I've done this now, but it's reiterating, but also keeping it interesting at the same time. So I have uppercase and lowercase letters, and then I have words that start with that letter. And as you can see, you're not going to really see much of A is for apple, B is for boy. You're not going to see a lot of that. Instead, I pick out other words that he will be learning to read or can learn to read. He should be able to read within the next 2 years, all of the words that I'm writing down. But I've got words like derby, better, fable, gutsy, hither. It's a great word, is that. And I've put little red dots next to the words I find really important or enchanting, words that I really enjoy. And I've only listed out 6 for each letter, but again, that's something else I can expand on, and we can reiterate. And eventually in other books that I'm putting together, I can start writing out really unusual words and some of their definitions. But I'm also asking him to look things up. What other words can you find? Okay, and I ended with Z on this page. Zoo, zeal, whatever we got, zoot, zig, zed, which stands for the letter Z. Zed. And zephyr. And now, the last part of the beginning of this book, because this is a sketchbook for him, but the last part of the opening of this particular sketchbook is going to be all about the Chinese Zodiac, the difference between Western Zodiac and Chinese Zodiac, what his year was, what the animal, oh, I've got so many tears in there, what the animal in the year that he was born is in. It was Earth Dog. Well, what does that mean? So I'm going to be going into it, and how the Chinese Zodiac is really about, or the, as it's also known as the elliptical zodiac, as the elliptical zodiac would describe the personality traits for anyone born in the year of the Earth Dog. Eventually I'll also have the hospital that he was listed in, probably in another book. The hospital he was born in, rather, I'll have that listed, and the longitude, latitude of it, and what that could possibly mean. So I'm introducing this idea because there's so many people that are separated from their families and from children and, you know, from the people they love. Instead of just doing a Zoom call, why not create something that your loved ones can hold on to and they will have for decades? So this is the fourth sketchbook I'm putting together, and then once I'm done, sorry, I'm kind of scattered. Once I'm done with the front portion where we're addressing several subjects, it'll just be his sketchbook after that, and then in the end, I'll close with another letter from me, which got me into something else, another project for him. And this is also for his parents too, so they understand their child a little bit better. Why is he so stubborn? Why is he so completely myopic? It is because that is who he is. He cannot, it's compulsory. He can't control it. You know, what number is his lucky number? His lucky number for the year he was born in is the number 4. Coincidentally, it's also my lucky number. I was born in, the 4th month of the year. I was the 4th child in the family. And I've just always had this affinity for the number 4. It's always been my lucky number, or derivatives of the number 4. I know it's convoluted and crazy, but I love it. And I feel a real connection to the number 4, to him, to so many characteristics I'm learning about him and doing all of this. The elliptical zodiac, the Western zodiac, his name, like looking up his name, and I'm finding so many connections between his maternal grandparents, well, his mother's parents, and our side of the family in terms of occupations and what the different names mean. His mother's part of his mother's last name, part of his mother's last name actually means miner, as in, you know, deep under the ground chipping away. Well, his father's, okay, we're going to get complicated now. His father's father, so his mother's, part of his mother's parents' name means miner, as in, you know, underground chipping at the walls. But his father's father, so his great-grandfather was actually a miner, and Max's great-grandfather has a lot of characteristics that Max's great-grandfathers both held, and great-grandfather. So this has just been really fun to be able to share this with him, you know, when he's older. I'm writing for the future Max. I'm not writing for the today Max. And I'm not sending a bunch of junk toys that he doesn't need. I'm sending things that will be an investment in him as a man and as a, you know, a person. Hopefully a whole person that is, when they get lost, when he feels broken, when he's not feeling quite right, he can look through these books and go, oh, okay, that's who I am. That's what I'm from. And his parents can go, okay, he hasn't stopped, you know, doing this drawing for 6 hours. What did Grammy Grams write? And they can look it up and see it. And they can also learn a little bit about themselves too, hopefully. We're trying to get there anyway. So the other project I have going, and I have several of them, we've got the sketchbooks to Max. And then I started writing letters to him, because I enjoyed writing in the back of the sketchbook so much that I started writing to him, and including some of the things that we've covered in the sketchbooks, like about the moon, about the stars, about the night sky. And most of the letters are written in English, and then some are written in code. This portion of the letter is written in Morse code. So 2-year-old Max isn't going to understand this, but maybe his mom and dad will find it interesting and want to work on this with him in a year, 2 years, 5 years. Or maybe today, who knows? I'm including little fun illustrations, just things that I want to do. Because I've also, this is one of feathers, and it's something that I've expressed to him in the past or in other sketchbooks. Be like a feather. Strong spine, flexible, and able to let things roll off. And one other idea on the feather is, people are like feathers. Individually, we're good, we're strong, we're flexible, and all these wonderful attributes. We have, like feathers, we can have all these wonderful attributes. But when we're connected, we're stronger. When feathers are connected, they are stronger. So as you can hear, there's a lot of stuff going on in this little brain of mine. Let me see, I'm trying to find something else. Yeah, I explained to him in this one last letter I wrote a couple days ago about my father, my two grandparents, going over the type of men they were. Then once again, I was back out in the backyard with the kitty in the middle of the night, or just about midnight, looking up in the night sky and thinking about him. So there's something else you might want to consider doing. Instead of having Zoom calls, which are really terrific, why not sit down and write letters to the people in the family that you love and put them together in a binder. I love composition books. Oh my God, I have stacks of them. There's just something about them I love. But the composition books will be something that Mommy and Daddy can put in a box, and Max will have them for as long as he has them. And then I'm going to show you the fourth project I have going on. I've been thinking a lot about Scooter Town, the book I've been illustrating, and it's always on my mind. I'm always trying to think, how can I make this better, deeper? Well, because of these two projects, of letter writing and explaining Max to himself, and learning things about other members of Max's family, I've been redefining the characters, and I picked myself up. I originally picked up this sketchbook for Max, and I was going to start doing larger illustrations in them, and then leaving most of it for Max to draw in later. Again, writing a letter in the back of the book, doing the same thing I'm doing in the little sketchbooks, but bigger. But then I really started thinking about one of the members of Max's family and the different things they've been through. And how can I incorporate that into a character or characters in Scooter Town? So I sat down this morning and I was watching videos that apply to this one person, and trying to understand their experience on this earth, and trying to understand how they may be feeling. And what I'm finding is, it's a difficult subject, and I cannot be specific. That would be rude and taking advantage of. I haven't asked their permission so to address it. So what I'm trying to do is understand their perspectives, and how they may feel. Because here I talk about me. But as I'm listing out, but I need to understand also, who I'm painting, who I'm drawing, who the audience is for Scooter Town, who the characters could apply to, what are the different subjects that I could address through stories from Scooter Town, and all the figures in my Scooter Town series. So although this family member has had a very, very specific issue, the trauma is so similar to other traumas that I can understand the feelings of loss and sadness and denial and rejection and abandon and anxiety and fear. But it is very specific. And so I've decided to take up their issue, this one family member's issue, and start writing out who I can apply it to, which characters. And I'm also going to take a deeper dive than I have in, look at composition book and other notebooks that I've written about stories from Scooter Town. So I know this is like, I'm doing all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I need things like this. I need things like this to also help my mind keep busy while I'm working out issues in my paintings. Plus it's going to have, it's going to have lasting effects, hopefully. And who knows if I'll ever get Scooter Town seen or printed. But at least this way, with this notebook, with writing everything down in this sketchbook instead of making another one for Max, I can get the ideas more honed, more intellectualized, bring them to a higher level. And if I never get to see it printed in my lifetime, maybe Max or his mommy and daddy, or, maybe somebody else can. Because the information will be here and the illustrations are all here. Or I've gotten through a ton of them, at least for one book. Anyway, I guess I'm not sure what I'm saying, other than I'm not sitting around in a maudlin mess all the time. And I think as artists we're very, oh God, it's 30 minutes. Oh my God, I'm so yappity again. As artists, I think we're in a unique position in a time and place like this where I think we're a little bit more accustomed to being alone because we do work singularly. We're more adept at being alone. But what we need to do is take a deeper dive into ourselves and our projects. And really think about the core of what we're doing and how we can expand on it. I think that's what I wanted to say. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to shut up now and go take a shower because it's about 85, 90 degrees and I'm sweating. I'm so sweaty and smelly. But that's what I've been working on, the sketchbooks for Max, and giving him a sense of self, writing letters to him, redefining characters from stories from Scooter Town, and taking that mess of a painting and turning it upside down and hopefully making it into something wonderful. I know just getting a little bit further ahead is like my mood. Also, one more thing, since you're killing time with me anyway. The other thing that got me down was I bought these roller skates. I've been working hard at relearning to roller skate. I am not any good at it yet, but I took a number of really bad falls and really almost broke my right arm. So you can't see it now, but this was like all bruised. It was pretty bad. So I couldn't roller skate. I couldn't hop on my little inexpensive row machine. I was getting no exercise, and with no exercise, there's no endorphins, and it's just like, I'm just gonna sit around and binge. Maybe the world will end and I'll be, I'll get out of this. But I have been able to roller skate at least for a few minutes every night again, and also row. So please remember to get some exercise. It's a little tough right now, but let's keep ourselves moving, shall we? I hope that was helpful on some level to somebody somewhere. boy. Throwing spaghetti at the wall. Anyway, ready, Carrie? Here we go. Ciao, guys. Meow, meow, meow. Oh my God, it's hideous. Meow, meow, meow. Boink.